The Black Messiah is a new biopic slash drama that is directed by Shaka King, and this film stars Daniel Kaluuya in the role of Fred Hampton. It also stars Dominique Fishback, it stars Martin Sheen, and it stars Lakeith Stanfield. And what this movie is, it is a depiction of a certain moment in Fred Hampton's life, while Fred Hampton was the chairman of the Illinois coalition of the Black Panthers Party. This film follows Lakeith Stanfield's character. He's been hired by the FBI as an informant to infiltrate the Black Panthers, to get close to Fred Hampton, to hopefully, combined with the efforts of the FBI and other government agencies in and around Chicago, bring down the chairman of the Black Panther Party for Illinois, which is again led by Fred Hampton. Along the way, just a lot of stuff happens that, yeah, it hurt. It hurt a lot. I arrived on the day Fred Hampton died. Real niggas just multiply. And they say by 21 I'm supposed to die. So I'm out here celebrating my post-demise. If you put crabs in the barrel to ensure your survival, you gonna end up pulling down niggas who look just like you. I don't know why, but watching this movie definitely reminded me of those lyrics from Jay-Z off of the song Murder to Excellence, or Murder for Excellence, which is a song off of Watch the Throne, which is a collab album that Jay did with Kanye. If you guys haven't checked out the album, you should. Shit is dope. Just listening to those lyrics and then watching the shit in this movie, I don't know, it just makes lyrics like that hit a little bit different, even for somebody like me who already knew the story of Fred Hampton. To be 100% honest, I was not looking forward to watching this movie. In fact, I was very anxious about watching this movie. I knew that in some way I kind of had to watch this movie because, again, I'm somebody who knows about the life of Fred Hampton. I was taught the story by my dad and my uncle when I was a little kid. So I've kind of been looking forward to a modern day live reenactment of Fred Hampton and his story, but I was anxious because I knew how the movie would make me feel. I knew that there was going to be a lot of triggering emotions involved with watching this movie, and I knew that the trauma and the tragedy behind Fred Hampton and his story was going to affect me. And the reason why I didn't want to watch it is because I've seen too many movies that are like this. As a black person, and I'm sure there's other black people out there that agree, sometimes you get tired of seeing this kind of trauma relived over and over again, and you're tired of going through an experience like this on film. Anybody out there that's kind of like, you know what? Nope, I know how that's gonna make me feel and I don't want to watch that movie. It's gonna trigger me, it's gonna get to me. I'm not really interested in that. I can't blame you. Like, I'm on your side, and honestly, that's how I was feeling going into this film. Putting aside my own existential dread at forcing myself to watch this movie, what I can say is that this movie is an absolute masterpiece, and I am not tossing that word around lightly. This film is a motherfucking masterpiece, and you heard it here first. Or maybe you didn't hear it here first and you heard it from other reviews who may not use the word masterpiece. So I hope maybe that you're not hearing it first, but if you are, hey, you're hearing it here first. Shaka King is in great command here. It's masterful direction. He packs a lot of his frames and a lot of his shots with a lot of history and a lot of intensity, and also a lot of subtle visual storytelling that, if you pay close attention, almost every frame is painting a picture of the struggle and what the people and the characters in this movie are going through. So I wanted to shed a light and show love and give flowers to the black creatives, the black artists who are responsible for bringing this story to life. And then you got to look at the performers. They describe acting to people that are like in film class or film study or whatever. They should pull up this movie and they should be like, you know what? This is the example that you should follow when it comes to amazing ass acting. Dominique Fishback, I remember seeing her name and seeing her in the trailer, and I was just kind of like, she looks really familiar. And then I was like, oh shit, yo, isn't that the girl from the, you know, she was from the Jamie Foxx Power movie that came out last year that I can't remember the name of. Was the movie called Power? I'm gonna pound the table for this, and I'm going to be pounding the table for this until the awards next year. Dominique Fishback, she should be nominated. She should be nominated. She gives such a powerful, excellent performance in this movie. As far as capturing Fred Hampton, the persona, how he walked, how he talked, and the way that he magnified and brought people together. I have never, ever in my life seen Daniel Kaluuya better. A dominant performance. Every single scene is made better with Daniel Kaluuya in it, and I'm not exaggerating that. Like, every single scene that he's not in it, you're sitting there, you're like, okay, but when does Fred Hampton come back to the screen? There's a very epic style and feel to this movie, and everything about it screams gut punch. In fact, if I were to describe this movie, I would say that it's like getting hit in the stomach with brass knuckles. It is powerful, it is tragic, it is emotional, it is so well crafted, and that's not even mentioning the thematic richness that is in this story. There's so many things that this movie touches on, not just racism and oppression, and not just power to the people and all of those things that we know, a lot of things that translate to what we're still going through today, whether it's using propaganda or using actual violence and physical means. Never underestimate what people in power power are willing to do to keep power and to maintain the status quo. It's one of those movies that, like I said, hits you with the impact of a runaway train. Not that I would recommend getting hit by a runaway train, because that would, you know, that wouldn't turn out too well for you. But if there's anybody out there that has been hit by a runaway train and knows what it feels like because they somehow survived that experience, then I bet this movie is going to speak to you really highly. I don't have many issues with this film. I do think that a little bit in the second act, you could argue that it slows down a little bit. It definitely feels like this is the part of the movie where the story needs to wait for certain things to come into place, and as a result, the pacing slows down a little bit, and then it picks right back up. But I do have to mention that as far as the critique for the movie. Lakeith Stanfield's character, I personally like the fact that they didn't try to humanize his character. They didn't try to give you a bunch of reasons to care about him so that you feel conflicted about him. His character's there and you understand why he's doing some of the things he's doing, but the movie never tries to present him as an actual person and never tries to let his backstory or his character breathe within the framework. And again, for me, I'm kind of okay with that. The only real negative I have with bringing that up is that I do kind of wish more of the story was framed around Fred Hampton and about him and his life and his actions. I don't know, it did take away from the movie a little bit, the scenes with Lakeith Stanfield, even though Lakeith Stanfield is still giving a good performance. I can count on less than 5 fingers the number of times in my life where I've seen a movie and I feel this emotional about it. I'm not gonna lie, this movie hit me, and at the end the tears came and I couldn't stop them. This movie made me cry for a good 5 minutes afterward, and I felt a lot of different things while I was crying, and that's why I'm telling you, if you want to skip this movie, I understand. But if you're also looking for not just how Fred Hampton passed away, how he died, but also how he lived, I think this movie's gonna have a little bit of that inspiration and hope to you as well, and hopefully a lesson to the young people that are watching movies like this. This is an absolute masterpiece. Judas and the Black Messiah gets Superman Prime treatment. That's my review for Judas and the Black Messiah. So you haven't seen the movie yet, so I'm not gonna ask you about it. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show. And as always, if you like what you see, tell me how you feel and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.